Hello, my name is Michelle. For this project, I decided to focus on a redevelopment issue, which would also be known as a corridor study, and it's just based on walkability and transportation. So for this project, it would be a public sector slash a public administration issue just because of the funding and the lack of funding that is allocated towards walkability, transportation, having the ability to protect, pedestrians, enhancing the life for pedestrians when it comes to walkability, and kind of necessary needs such as crosswalks, signage, certain things like that, which I will get into a little bit later on into the video. So with that, just to kind of give a back story of what it is that I'm going to be talking about, mainly the roadway that I'm talking about is a 2 one-way. It is roughly, I would say, 3 to 4 miles all the way down, which is quite a big roadway, long roadway. Because of that, we also have 12 to 13 neighborhoods entrances along this roadway. This roadway being a two one way in and one way out, it's extremely congested all the time, blocked up. And particularly what I'm going to be talking about is the 3 to 4 mile radius, specifically, just because I live within that. This is something that I have seen, obviously, growing up, driving down this road, is the constant lack of attention and things that you would think are necessary. So I will get into that a little bit later once I actually show you guys what it is that I'm talking about. But I'm starting at the intersection of Silver Star and Powers, which goes all the way down to Claricona and Ocoee. So it actually starts from one city to the next, starting at the Pine Hills area, which is Silver Star and Powers. That is technically Orlando. And then if you were to go down all the way and then get to Claricona and Ocoee and then probably drive down 10 minutes, you're in Apopka. So this roadway is major. People trying to get to and from work, trying to get home, the grocery store, just like Colonial is a major roadway. In my opinion, there are no shortcuts. It's kind of, you have to go down this road. So because of that, we do see a lot of underlining areas of kind of negative impact. So that being walkability, transportation within things like our sidewalks, things like our bike lanes, things like debris hitting the sidewalks, trees hanging over power lines. So for example, we have huge power lines all along the roadways going all the way down North Powers. And because of that, if anything happens to those power lines, we don't have electricity. We don't have anything. So because of that, for example, we had a car hit one of the power lines last night and the power went out. And it did come back on, but it's just not what you were expecting. So with that as well, we have tree limbs hanging over the power lines, which when hurricane season comes around, or even just storms, a lot of these trees are older. Some are oak trees, but with the limbs hanging over the power lines, most of the time they fall, they mess up the power lines, and then we don't have electricity. So with that, this kind of takes an effect to people that are walking, pedestrians that are going, like I said, to and from work. All in all, we know that a big modality here in Orlando is our roadways. So not only our roadways, but also our automobiles and our vehicles. We live in a sprawl area, so I can't go from West Orlando and then walk to main campus or walk to downtown campus. I would need a vehicle or a bus or some type of transportation system. So with that, our bus stops, even along this road, are very barren. There's not even a place to sit. With that, there's no overhead. It rains a lot here, it's hot here. So just those little things of consideration being put back into an area that is heavily congested, not only with cars but also people that walk. I see mothers with strollers all the time, and on a narrow sidewalk they can barely get by. With that, if there's debris and potholes all over the sidewalks, it just makes it difficult for them, and inaccessible as well. So then with that, we also don't even have bike lanes along this major roadway. With that, the individuals that do bike have to go on the sidewalks, which they shouldn't be doing in the first place, but they have no other choice. So that also causes another strain and issue in that sense. And so with that, another major issue I see are crosswalks. We have amped it up a little bit with signage. So we do have like signage within residential areas that say, 25 miles per hour, different things like that. But when it comes to crosswalks, we definitely don't have enough, and we definitely don't have efficient crosswalks. We have 2 schools nearby, a middle school and an elementary school. So with that, there's kids constantly going to school, constantly walking, and there's not even crosswalks that are safe enough for them to walk across. People most of the time don't stop. There aren't stop signs along this roadway. So because of that, all these little issues become bigger issues when they aren't funded properly, because these issues can't be solved. So that goes into the public sector, the public administration, and how that becomes an issue there. For example, if I were to go and complain about all these issues, I would go to the public admin level to complain, about them. So that's pretty much kind of the issues that I wanted to touch on, kind of this roadway and how, substantial and important it is, but how it lacks in the resources. And then I will show you guys kind of going.